And we're back, Fashion Dolls. We are going to get right into this interview with Elijah. I hope you guys are doing excellent this beautiful Sunday, May 1st. Again, hopefully, I think today is the Met Ball. And if there is a Met Ball today, be on the lookout for some fashion coverage so that we can dive right into this. And I'm super excited about this interview as well, too, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope you guys are all doing excellent today. Give it a second. We froze for a second. That's why I had to go back and just restart a whole new live. Let me send it back to Elijah so that we can get right into this interview, ladies and gentlemen. Give it a second. Give it a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Give it a minute. Let me send this back to Elijah so that we can dive right into this interview. IG be trying us sometimes, I'm telling you. Hopefully you should be joining us in a second. Please give it a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, they've been trying us lately. Like, I couldn't even finish asking my questions the way I wanted to. Like, it's been tripping. Antonio the Blackwood, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Elijah is back. We apologize about that. Let me add him back so that we can get right into this interview. And we're back. We're
Oh,
back. We're back. About how art has been helping people with this pandemic going on, having to
mm-hmm.
find that balance because it's been stressful for a lot of us as content creators in general, as artists, as yourself, and so
Mm-hmm.
many others to maneuver around with this pandemic going on. So that's why I asked, how's your 2022?
Oh, in that aspect, I've had to I've had to deal with a lot of loopholes of trying to make art, feel confident about making art, um, travel. Like, there's a lot of stuff we've all just had to figure out. So, but I'm also
Mhm.
grateful. I'm super grateful for the
Okay.
position that I'm in.
So tell us a little bit about the Paint and Sit. How did that become to be? How did this become to be? Because it's very successful. You had over 1,000 people, if I'm not mistaken. Correct?
Yes, ma'am. And this really this idea came about. I had art in my room that I had painted and just painted with my friends. And I was looking at my room and I was like, man, I love what this art is doing for me, but I wish it could do the same thing what it's doing for me for other people. So I decided to take it to the park and just put out a sign on a little piece of cardboard. And I said, yo, if you like this, you can take it or you can send a donation for it. And that turned into me bringing some art supplies and making another sign and saying, hey, if you want to come and paint and just sit down right here in the park for free, you're more than welcome to. And that's literally how Paint and Sit came about. From 5 people painting in the park to just marketing it on social media and trying to get people out here. I started this July 3rd of 2021. And I've only been doing events since March 16th of this year. So for 1 month, I've only been doing Paint and Sits this year. And to get the reception like there was yesterday was like a fulfillment of like my purpose and fulfillment of like something that God put on my heart as an individual to share with the world. So it was super impactful. It was meaningful. It was overwhelming, but it was like everything that I prayed for.
How did it feel to see all of those? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. And I was just about to tap into that too, because throughout the entire day, I'm constantly talking to people, thanking them for coming. And I couldn't have imagined in a million years that many people would show up for an idea that I was given, that I was gifted with, and wanted to share and be in that space. And it's like, the energy was so good. There was no bad vibes. There was no drama, no anything for 12 straight hours. From the time we did free Paint and Sit from 12 to 8. And then we had live performances from local artists in Atlanta performing for the first time live. We had fireworks that somebody set off. Like, it was unimaginable. No one could have planned that night. So, and I'm still, it just happened yesterday, so I'm still in the process of processing the entire day, but it's really just wonderful. Like, life is crazy right now, but it's so good.
And how does it feel for you to see people of color, your people, our people?
Yes, our people.
Yes.
Our people coming together. Like, through this event, I'm starting to realize how much people appreciate art, but they don't have an avenue to dive into it. And I feel like through this event, like, it's touching a lot of people's creativeness that they don't necessarily have the space or the opportunity to be in. So that part is makes me overwhelmed, because now a portion of myself is being touched by every individual that comes. Now there's connectivity. Now there's connection between all of us. Like, it's just so good. It's just exuding out of me. I'm sorry. Like,
no, you're fine. And this is through the power of art. I was just reading an article on Bloomberg, and it says that Dr. Daisy Fancourt, the University College of London, has tracked arts and participation in mental health in a cohort 72,000 UK adults aged 18 and older on a weekly basis. Suggests that spending 30 minutes a day during the pandemic during arts activities, reading for pleasure, listening to music, engaging in a creative, which is art, helps. It's very therapeutic, especially for us as Black and brown folk, as people of color. This has definitely been beneficial to us because we've been pent up in the house. And I know it's been difficult for a lot of people to maneuver around, to see family members and things. What are your thoughts on art being like healing?
Well, immediately, art has been a healing process for me. I've been through depressions in my life, and I just luckily got out of like a 4-month depression where I wasn't making art, I wasn't painting, I wasn't writing, I wasn't journaling, I was minimizing my creative self because of how I felt about my exterior situation. But once I got in just the realization of just like, okay, just take the time, one day at a time, just create, just one day, and then try to do it tomorrow, and then just build off that. I kind of got back in the groove. I got back to doing the Paint and Sit. So like art, all of this has been my therapy to get me back to me, but also remind myself, I've had this the entire time. It's just hard to see sometimes, you know, like through adversity, through our environment, through situations, we can kind of cover ourselves, but through that unveiling and through those unlearning those habits, like hey, I've always been this creative. I've always been this painter. I've always been this person that loves art. And I've always wanted to share it. So now that I'm in a position, I want to do so. Like art and God, like God through art has allowed me to blossom as an individual, as a man, as a father. This is my life. This is all encompassing.
And
Oh
we
man,
see it
this is
all
so
over you.
good.
Your skin looks amazing.
Like
You're
it's
glowing.
all
You're happy. And
ah,
like art, it has an impact on you. We're in two different fields. Well, it's still considered art, but I'm
very
into
much
fashion.
so, very much
And
so.
yes, and fashion and color, it all goes hand in hand with art. And when
Hmm.
you're painting, you use what? Different colors. Colors enhance your mood,
Hmm.
and that's also been studied as well too for mental health out here. That color brightens up your mood, like yellows, blues,
Hmm.
orange, so many different things. We take
See,
time to
that's why I
learn.
rock the bright colors. I'm all bright all the
Yes.
time, somewhere.
Hi, Queen. Hi, Queen Malika. How are you, girl?
What's
She's
up,
coming on the
Queen?
show May 17th. We're talking about art with Elijah and how it's been healing and therapeutic for us as people of color because a lot of us struggle with depression and we just don't know how to get it out there. We're afraid to use these resources because we don't want people to look at us as, oh, well, you're crazy. This is wrong with you.
Hmm.
Art is a way of telling a story, having a conversation. And once someone sees that canvas, that mural, whatever it is that you're working on, people can be like, wow, we never knew this about you. It's just like a singer writing a song. Singers write music to tell us whatever it is that they're feeling.
Exactly.
And they use code things and they're just like, okay, did you catch that? So,
Hmm. You never know who who is an artist, their abilities, or anything at these events. So when people come down and I'm just walking around and just seeing, like, there's so much skill, there's so much passion out here in Atlanta. Like, all people wanted was just an opportunity to showcase themselves. Like,
and this definitely has helped because
yeah.
we've all been pent up in the house. And I know everybody's just like, oh, we're tired of seeing these walls and
Hmm.
the same faces or three faces or whatever. We're ready to get out and explore and be creative. And not only that, but it gives us a minute to put that phone down and unplug
Be
from
present.
social media. Yeah.
Very much so. Be present. Sit in communion with everyone that's here, your people that are here collectively with you. We get so it's easy. It's easy for us to egotistically get wrapped up in ourselves and our phones and our life. But to have a place where you can ground yourself, just say, hey, for a moment, forever, however long I'm out here, I'm just gonna be, and whatever comes, comes. I'm just gonna allow it. Like it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yes,
And it's
exactly.
therapeutic.
Decompress.
That
Very
change.
much so therapeutic. You can walk in with a whole different energy and leave just like I had no intent of even coming today. I was just walking by. I just decided to paint something, and now I have this entire experience, like because I took a moment for myself to do something for myself outside of gain or like a pleasure, or anything. Just like just to be, and I feel like that is the most important thing that one of the most important things that Paint Sit does for people is allow that space and that time for them. And it's like you can go to different paint and sits and have someone instruct you or guide you through something, but to have an open space, like,
Yes.
and say, okay, I'm good. What I have in here, up here, in here, I'm gonna put it right here, and I want whoever to see it to see it. Like that's beautiful. I know I keep saying this, but like that's truly, truly beautiful.
And it's amazing to see people of color get into something that's
Hmm.
positive.
We
Because
don't have.
when it comes to us for mental health,
Hmm.
we put these things under the rug. We don't want to go and see what's wrong. But
Hmm.
this can be healing for a lot of people out
Hmm.
who are struggling with depression. I suffer with anxiety, and I've been transparent about it. I'm a very private person. I don't allow everybody to come across the velvet rope. I try to be as transparent with people as I can. There's
Hmm.
certain things I want you to know about me. There's certain things I don't. I'd rather keep to myself and keep private.
Hmm.
But through this platform, you just get just a little sneak peek of what's inside her mind, what, the velvet rope. And
Hmm.
art is a way like that for everybody to get people to come across the velvet rope to find out What are your thoughts? What are your fears? What are your goals? So what are your goals and what are your passions for you in this amazing project?
I want to take I want Peyton to be like across the world. I want it to be global. I want there to be spaces in people communities and in people's communities, whether big or small, where they can come, sit, and create. Because this is not everywhere. This is the first time this is ever happening in Atlanta. Yesterday, my event was in Atlanta. Two women actually did free paint and sits, one in Virginia and one in New York. In their local cities, they just brought out supplies, said, hey, I got this idea from this guy. I just wanted to do it and share. Like, that is what I want. I want that connectivity to be across the world because it is needed. Now I'm starting to see that it's needed and it's necessary. Like, people don't have this opportunity in this space and they want it and they will keep coming back for it. So whatever I can do, whatever way I can do to progress this, like, I just feel like if this just gets in the right person's hands and gets the right exposure, it can be.
Oh, he must have got a phone call. Welcome if you're just coming in, ladies and gentlemen. His Elijah's sound went out.
Um.
There we are. You're back. You must have got a call.
Yes, I did get a call. Okay, guys. But yeah, I really just want to connect. Really, just want to connect the entire world through this art. That is all I want to do. And we just added last night's event. We just added a open mic portion. So 15 artists could come perform their songs for free. And some of these people were performing for the first time. We had over 75 people just sitting in the park. We didn't have many lights. We had our flashlights out, just sitting in the park, allowing these people to perform, hearing their stories, hearing their struggles, hearing their pain, hearing their passion, all out here together, engaged. Not people on their phones just locked in. There's a guy grilling next to us. He lit off some fireworks while people were performing. Like, it was beautiful. And this is just one event that happened. I'm just thinking about the next time we have an event, the amount of people that want to come and sit and have that time of therapy for themselves, for their family. There were kids there with their moms, their dads. Like, I brought my son out there. Like, this is a community building. We are building something great. God is building something great here.
And yes, we've got some questions for some of the audience. Let me see. Did I miss anything? I get out of my head. Art is great. Are you doing an event next weekend? The former Bud Tender Joe wants to know. And Hi is Ben says, event was awesome. And the open mic at this end was perfect. And a perfect way to top off local music and painting is a great combo. And not only that, but here in Atlanta. Atlanta's the Black Mecca, so music, art, all of that in here.
All together. You can come get. And at our next event, we're having the chef cater the entire event. So we're gonna have free food. We're gonna have free paint and sit. We're gonna have 15 new local artists come perform their songs. We're gonna have fireworks. Like, it is. I want the entire city of Atlanta. Anyone that wants to come. There's people coming from North Carolina, people coming from Texas, Ohio, just to be here. So May 14th is going to be a massive, massive, massive day.
And it's good to see that the youth, the children, are getting attached to video games, the Fortnite and everything. But to now see them get off of those video games, because I know a lot of parents want that, to get out here and participate and go outside and just play and just live and enjoy their childhood. Because when you're our age, you can't get to do that. Well, we could. We go outside and we play with our children. I need to do that. But we can't do it when we get up here like we used to. So,
man, what has art done for you?
Art has done for me what it's done for me. It's helped me. It's helped me discover the woman that I am. It's helped me to find the truth in myself. discovered things about me that other people have just been like, wow, that's different about her. That's
Mm,
what's captivating. That's what's alluring about you. And it's also helped me come out of this dark shell, this dark space,
mm,
of things that I've suffered with. Like I've mentioned in the beginning, anxiety,
mm-hmm.
um, the things that have made me sad. I lost a sister in 2018. And I know when next month rolls around, June 29th, which is going to be bittersweet for me and my family.
Mm-hmm.
But it's helped me in a way to just grow stronger. That's what art has done for me. It's really helped. And if I can see that just through looking at a painting or looking at uh, a piece of fashion or just an aesthetic of color, it can be
Mm-hmm.
lemons, it can be limes, it can be anything. It brightens your mood. Color does that. So it's really
Does.
helped me a lot.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's awesome to that is so awesome to hear. Like just through this one avenue, it shifted your entire life, and you allowed it to. You allowed it to change and allow you to grow in it. You weren't stagnant, or you weren't. I'm going to stay in this mental cycle of, no, like no. I know I'm great. I know I'm here for something.
Right. Like get out of that funk, get out of that
Yes,
shell. And it's gonna
it's
take
so
a little
hard.
bit. Yeah.
It's so hard to get out of that funk because it's like it's every day. It's just kind of like pulling on you, weighing on you. But it's just like I know I'm here for something greater. Like I know I got something greater. I just gotta tap into it.
And that's for all of us. We have to tap into it. Like some people say, I can't paint, I can't do this. There's
Mm-hmm.
something, and it's up to you to discover that talent. Like I didn't always know I wanted to do this here. I
Mm-hmm.
knew I wanted to do hair when I was younger, and I still do hair. But I said I want to do other things other than just that as well too. And that's
Uh-huh.
because God has put a talent inside of you. It's up to you to pull that talent outside of you to
Mm-hmm.
show whatever it is. If it's painting or playing a piano or doing what I'm doing, hosting or whatever. Every one of us has a God given talent and a purpose. And he'll lead us wrong.
If you allow him to use you as a vessel, and that's one of the biggest things I had to learn because the relationship that I have with God, it was very much so like, okay, I'm gonna do me. Like I like doing this. I feel like this is suitable. This is pleasurable for me. I'm just gonna kind of. And every time he would just kind of pull me back or just drag me through something, another lesson I needed to learn until I got to this space where I was just like, okay, man, I'm really tired of this. I've been drugged through the mud. I've been through the fire. I'm just gonna open up and give you what I got and just see what happens. And right when I put that trust in, my dad tells me this all the time. My mom and my dad, if you just give God the faith of a mustard seed, He will move mountains on your behalf. And I feel like that is really what He's doing right now. He's just like, Elijah, I got this for you. I want you to share it. I'm not going to tell you the destination. I'm not going to tell you what you got to go through, but I'm just going to let you know this is what I got for you to share. So you going to do it or you not? And that's how PaintnSit's been rocking. Like I feel very much in my calling and in my purpose.
And he's definitely given each and every one of us a purpose.
Very
And
much so.
for me, I
Very
believe
much
in
so.
manifestation. So whatever you put out there in that universe is what is going to come back full circle. Whatever you attract will come back to you full circle.
Excellent. And you can
Right?
only attract things that are inside of you. You can't attract
Yeah.
things that you don't possess. So if inside of you you're constantly giving yourself negative self talk or doubt or shame or regret, that's all you're going to attract. But if you feed yourself light, love, I live in purpose, I walk in purpose, I've always been. All these things are going to be abundantly for you.
And I kind of looked that way because I know y'all guys were like, why did she do that when I but I did that because he said something that stood out to me. A lot of people want to know I will be sometimes we're our own worst critics.
Hmm.
And I've done so many interviews on this platform. And people are like, why don't you go back and check out some of your work? I'm like, because I know I would put something down about myself. I
Mm.
know I would say something negative about myself. Now I've gotten to a point where I'm just like, ease up. You did great. You're awesome. And it's up to us to reassure that confidence within ourselves. But for me,
Definitely.
I would go back and I would pick out the worst things about interviews when every single interview that I've had on this platform when I first started back in 2017. It's all been amazing. Every guest that I've had on,
Mm-hmm.
great review, great commentary. You did amazing. You did excellent. We're our own worst critic, and when you pick out things about ourselves that are negative, other than over,
Mm-hmm.
outlooking the positive. Yes, that's what that is. And we have a question for you. Any kind of art form requires vulnerability and
Okay.
faith with trust in it. What has been a moment, yeah, faith and trust in it.
In which
What has been a
God
moment?
is working in your favor. Oof. There's a lot of there's a lot of moments. There's a lot of moments. Oh, I got one. So, 2 weeks ago, I had a painted sit that I had partnered with at the Interlock in Atlanta on Howell Mill Road. I partnered with some ladies to have some free mimosas that day and do a free paint sit. But the weather was looking shaky. It was looking like a 60% chance of rain, and they were like, "Nah, we don't really know if we're going to be out there today, so we'll cancel and reschedule." But my following, just that I had on Instagram and TikTok, like even if one person came and painted, it was going to make a difference. So I was going to show up. Also, the DJ that I have, I've never met her before that day. She was like, "Okay, if you're going to show up, I'm going to show up." And we just put our trust in God that He was going to handle the weather if we handle our side. So we get there, and 450 people come out and paint for free. That's the largest crowd I ever had at the time, and it specifically and intentionally came from the trust in God to handle the weather, because I'm not in control of that. There's nothing I can do about that. I said, God, I'm gonna give you the weather. If you just allow it to be some sunshine, even if some clouds, just don't let it rain. I'm gonna allow these people to come out. Boom. Didn't think about it no more, because He got it. Like he more powerful than me, so He got it. Just showed up and had a massive turnout. And that and all those people in turn came the next week when I actually did have the free mimosas, and then to the next event to be yesterday. There's a consistency of how God is moving and my level of trust in Him that go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. So that is one moment. That one event that I couldn't have planned that. I really put all I had. How do you spend time with self? Ooh, I do this. Oh, there's a. I love these questions. Can I dive into this one?
Yeah, these are yours that they're wanting to know. And by the
Okay,
way,
cool,
we're
cool.
on
'Cause I
social
didn't want
media.
to interject on you or anything like that, but how do I spend time with myself? Normally, I dance in my living room. I listen to like my favorite songs and I dance in my living room. I've been doing like a lot of dance therapy lately. I journal, um, but a lot of time, especially like after painting sits, like I have time just to sit with myself. And this last 2 months in particular, I haven't been involved with anybody. I haven't even been sexual. I've been like cultivating all my energy, everything I have, just with me and God and what I'm trying to pursue. God gave me something when I was in college. Right before I had it, it's like the week I found out I was having my first son. And He told me I was sitting down, I was so stressed, I was overwhelmed, didn't know what I was going to do. And He said, and I wrote it down, I taped it to my dresser, and He said, if you give me the next 6 months of your life, I'll give you everything you need.
Mm.
Not everything that you want, but everything that you need. And that's scary, and that was very scary because it was the first time me actually like, okay, I might just do this and like see what happens. And I probably made it like 2 or 3 months before the next slip up, but I never forgot that. So for the past 3 months, I've been doing that consistently, just him and me, just rocking. So I know that was a tangent. I know that was a tangent, but I spent a lot of time myself just talking to God. We chop it up. I chop it up like He's just like my homie that passed away. So I just like, we just, I just like shoot up whatever I got. Like, damn, I'm stressed about this, or I'm like frustrated about my kids this week, or I don't know how I'm gonna have enough money at the start of the week to buy 700 canvases for people. Like, After my event at the Interlock, I had $8 to my name as Elijah. As Elijah, as a man with two kids that has a place to stay, I had $8 to my name on Monday. So for everyone to have the level of trust in me to come to these events and show out 1,000 people and to send donations and still have money to do another event next week and the following week, like I don't do this. I don't work. I'm not a millionaire. I haven't had a job since January. Like this is all provided by God. That's why I put it on my Instagram. All supplies are provided by God because it's not like I'm doing any of this. Every person that comes is donating. They're making this shape. They're making this continue every week. So this is a community that wants this. That's why I go so hard for it.
Mm.
What other?
You said a
Yeah, go ahead.
mouthful.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, that's another question for you. What is
Okay.
another art form that you want to dive into and why?
Um, Another art form. I really want to get into sculpting. Like I really want to like do pottery and like sculpt figures. I don't know. I was at a restaurant yesterday and I saw some, and I was like, I don't know what I would need to do to start this, but like this is really interesting. This is something I really want to do. That and what's it called? Graffiti spray paint. I want to learn how to do that. So clay pottery, sculpting, and graffiti are probably like up there right now for me of just like things I want to dive into and actually learn that I have no idea about.
Okay, okay. And for you to open up and be that transparent and say, well, I'm a father and I had $8 to my name. I had all of this. I'm
Hmm.
not a million. That's humanity. That's vulnerability. And that's
Hmm.
not only that, but that's humbleness as well, too, that comes along with this. And
Yeah.
lets your supporters and your followers that come to these events, because these events are amazing. From what I've seen on your Instagram, you post the pictures, and when I seen all of those people of color out there doing something positive like this. It's
Hmm.
really beautiful. We need more of this.
Yeah.
It's okay to go out and dance and
Of
have
course.
fun, go to the park or whatever, be safe. But I want to see the creative aspect. We have
Hmm.
talent inside of us that we don't even realize we had. And for me, to go to beauty school and do things like that, I didn't even realize I had that talent inside of me because I would get help from some of the other girls in the class as well. It's 23 of us, 23
Hmm.
women in the classroom. And we all had to figure things out. We all had our own swag when we came in there to do hair. We already had knowledge. So to be able to open your mind up and learn new things is a beautiful thing. So we
Hmm.
have another question. Art is an interpretation of what your eyes see. What is the first beauty your eyes see? Ooh,
What is the first
great
beauty
one.
my eyes beheld? Definitely my son, because now I have up to that point I had lived 22 years just understanding or even trying to attempt to understand who Elijah is, what is he about, how does he move through this dimension while we're on this earth. But to see something come from me, to see myself and another person create a whole new being, oh, I was like, oh, this came from me, like in this came from us. You know what I'm saying? So that was in that instance, I was like, oh, there's no type of love I've ever experienced like this. I don't think and I'm not sure if I will experience that type of love in that moment that I had that because it was the first time I was like, wow, Malachi is he's a human, like, and he's my responsibility as well, but also like I love him and also don't know him, but I love him. It's that kid alone. Like he's 3 years old, but he's like the smartest 3 year old I've ever come across. Like the way he communicates his emotions, the way he can understand, the way I communicate myself, my frustrations, whatever I can with him. That is beautiful. Like for him to be three, that boy right there, he's gonna be doing some great things in his life. I'm
What is
already know it.
fatherhood? My question for you is because
Mhm.
you asked you light up and you talk about your son. What does fatherhood mean for you?
It just like it showed me everything I wasn't as a like an individual. It exposed everything I was like trying to work hard to like build for myself. And it was just like, nah, like I don't have you doing that. Like this is your purpose. I have you because I want you to raise these sons. I put something in you so you can give to them. Like this is your purpose. This is your calling. And oh man, for Malachi's like early years in life, like I was not the best man. I didn't make the best decisions. I wasn't even there for him in the best type of life. But once God put it out my heart to take me out of the situation I was in college at the time, away from him, and started to build a relationship. I was like, I love this. Like there's no greater relationship I have outside of my relationship with God. But there's no other love that compares to that. And to just like see him love me and appreciate me. Like he's 3 years old and he tells me he's proud of me. He's proud of me. Daddy, I love you. Daddy, I'm proud of you. You helped me, Daddy. Thank you. Like
It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling for you as an artist and just in general as a black father. It's a great feeling. Yesterday on the show we talked a little bit about legacy. Talked yesterday with Bjorn Ducati on legacy. And I asked him, as an actor, what do you choose to do? Who would you want to play you in a bio? So I'm asking you the same question for you as an artist. You have two boys.
mm-hmm.
When your legacy is gone and we see your art hanging up somewhere in, let's see, the Museum of Art in New York, someplace big like that, your sons go and look at this. What legacy do you want to leave for your two boys?
I really just want them to understand. I want them to understand that in this world, like everything that we have comes from above us. The
Yeah.
skill, our conversation, the way we think, everything, everything. Even my skill as an artist comes from God. Okay, that needs to be mandatory, and I want them to know that their dad came on this earth. He loved God, he loved people, and he wanted to connect the world. That's my dad. That's what he came to do. It doesn't matter if I pass next year. It don't matter if I pass in 20 years. Like that's who my dad was. And I want them to know and feel that. That's fatherhood. Leaving that legacy for them. Leaving that example, even after I'm gone. This is how you carry yourself. This is how you move. My father does it for me. My mother do it for me weekly talking. Staying in alignment with God, talking to God, remain humble, asking for discernment, asking for wisdom, constant conversations that I feed right back into my children. So it's a cycle. It's a cycle of love, especially in my family. There's a cycle of God. There's a cycle of love, and also there's a cycle. There've been cycles of unlearning ourselves, even at different ages. My mom taking time to go to therapy. Myself taking time, like tapping into God. My father always being that standard, that head honcho of just like God is the standard for us, and everything else is going to move accordingly. So my parents instilled that in me. So it's a requirement for me to do that for my sons. And if I don't, I have failed them. I failed God. I failed them. So I go hard for this. This ain't fake. This ain't fake news. This this is God, and He's moving out. He's doing it. Nobody
Oh,
like this couldn't have been planned.
oh, we got a question for you. The counter of sensitive is, what would you say is hard? Is hard about bringing a painting to life?
Um, I mean, I can't see that comment. Can you repeat that one more time, please?
That is from Liz. She's a singer and songwriter, and she wants to know the counter of sensitive is hard. What would you say is hard about bringing a painting to life?
Ooh, what I feel, especially me as an artist, sometimes I don't feel like an artist because at my events there's so many people and I'm constantly talking and moving, and I don't have time to sit down and just make or create. So for me, I do a lot of my art through my expression of how I feel at the time. So having a blank canvas is literally like having a white piece of paper. I'm just like, okay, what I got in here, I'm going to put it on here through these colors that resonate with my life, my present moment, how I'm thinking, how I'm feeling. Like, I just put it on there. And sometimes it looks like shit. Sometimes I don't know where I'm going with it, but I keep going until I feel this is complete, or maybe not, and I want to come back to it. But I allow myself a space to be vulnerable and honest with myself, and not critique. Oh, this has to be a certain way, or I messed up this line over here. I'm like, nah, dude, like, you made that. It is what it is. Be happy about it. You were honest and vulnerable with yourself, and now you have a painting to show that.
I'm so glad you said that because when I've interviewed and sat with a couple black men on my show, B. Jordan yesterday, and then the day before I sat with another actor as well. These
Mm-hmm.
black men are so candid, and to hear from you as a black man about open up about vulnerability, because we know black men were raised to be the head of the household and just, to be in charge and protect us as women and things like that. But they don't want to open up and show that vulnerability side. And that's been in the black community for years.
Mm-hmm.
But for you to be transparent, I commend you as a woman, as a black woman. I'm
Mm-hmm.
commending you to thank you for sitting up here and saying, well, it's okay. I want to showcase my vulnerability. Whereas black men for years have been told, well, you can't do this, don't do this, you'll look weak, don't do this, don't do
Mm-hmm.
this. Come out. And it ties back into mental health as well too, because for us as black people, we have been told that, oh well, don't go to there's nothing wrong with you. Just talk to God about it. And
Mm-hmm.
every day I get up, I give him, my father, thanks for allowing me to see another day.
Mm-hmm.
COVID free, each and every day
Amen
alive
to
and
that.
living and thriving and breathing and just existing through all of this craziness going on in the world. But I applaud you for doing that, because most black men, for years, they've been programmed to, keep it in. You got to
Mm-hmm.
keep it in. You got to be tough. You got to be head. You got to show them who's in charge. No, show me that vulnerability so we can work through this together. And that's a great question, Liz. What is your strength as a man? And she also wants to know, when did you become into the self-realization that you are an artist?
Ooh, self-realization of an artist. No, probably within the last 2 months, because I was downplaying myself so much. I was like, I mean, you make art, but why don't you feel like an artist how you see other people that you view as artists? And I was like, because people are selling their work. I came to, well, I don't even want to say I came to that realization. I was talking to myself, and that idea was dropped on me that because they're selling their work, you feel like they're an artist. But because you give yours away for free, you feel like you don't fit in that category. But you are, very much so. And what you're doing is even, I don't even, this is our conversation up here. I don't even know what, if you see what I'm trying to do, or where this is going. I've always been an artist. I've been painting when I was in college. I played basketball for 4 years in college. I would come home. Oh, college was such a crazy time. Oh, I was working at, okay, just some backstory. When I realized I had Malachi, I was working at Chick-fil-A. So I'll get up at like 4:45. I would ride my bike like 2 miles, and I'd go work an 8-hour shift. And then right when I'll get off from 6 to 2, I would come and practice from like 2:30 to 4:30. I would go eat, and then I had another job that I had on campus working for the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. And I was like, we did events on campus like that, and we actually did a paint and sit, or like a paint event there. So that's the first time I ever like painted in public with people, and I was like, this is super dope. Like, and I worked for this, office or whatever. But then I would go home in the evening time, take some supplies, and I would just paint and just put it up in my room. So like that that struggle, or even that's not that struggle, but that cultivation of me creating art at that time was like I was an artist then. I was an artist when I was a child. when I was drawing. Like I was an artist then, but I just lost sight of all of that. All that creative space that I used to have, I lost sight of all of it through my ego, through struggles, through bad situation that altered the light of the light that I am. Because the more struggle that you go through, you kind of like start to shelter yourself off because you're like, I don't want to go through that same type of hurt again. So like, but that's what we need, because we're sheltering our vulnerability, and we're not showing people, okay, this is, I've been hurting this way, or I have these flaws, or I have these things that I feel uncertain about, and I'm scared to share them with you because now you can judge me, and now you can kind of look past me and not really want me for me. But if you step into the light of who you are, it doesn't matter what room you walk in, who's around. I'm me. I'm always going to be me. I don't have to change. Like, my vulnerability is my strongest superpower. The relationship I got
And
with God and my vulnerability are my superpowers.
oh, great question. How do you feel about the following words? Blank, curve, shadow, and gray.
Blank, curved, shadow, and gray. Ooh, let's start with blank. The first word that came to my head when I saw blank was opportunity. So when something blank, a sheet of paper, a canvas, anything, it's pure, but it's expecting something to happen with it. It's an opportunity for something to change forms from that blank canvas to a lovely painting. Curve. What do I think about curve? I think about like winding roads when I hear curve, but curve in the sense of like adversity. A lot of my life has been ebbs and flows, ups and downs, but it's just there's no high, there's no consistent high, and there's no consistent low. So once you understand the duality of life, you can flow through those high phases, because I mean, a dip is coming, but you also know that another high is coming. So it allows the flow of life to go a little better. Shadow. I mean, I've been doing a lot of shadow work lately, so but shadow for me is just like that word is just addressing myself and addressing the unhealed areas of myself, because everyone's ugliness that you see is just their unresolved light. And if you think about life in that way, it allows people to have so much more grace in other people's interaction, because we're all going through something. We're all dealing with something internally. And we kind of overlook that because we get in our own head about what we have to do, but we're all dealing with something. And gray area. Uh, a lot of gray areas in my life came from um, me just not being decisive about what I wanted or how I wanted to move. Like, and once there's confusion with yourself, of course there's gonna be confusion with other people. So I feel like once you, I don't say get rid of your gray areas, but I feel like once you accept your gray areas, oh, acceptance is so big. Acceptance is key in a lot of areas. Like I didn't want to accept that I was a father, that I had to change my life. You know what I'm saying? That I was required to change the person that I thought I was. And once that should have been the answer to the question earlier. Like, once I accepted, like, this is the role for me, it blossomed. And I had more confidence in being a father too, because now I'm not just like a father sometimes when I'm like not at school. Like, no, this is my life forever. Like, this, me and these kids locked in forever. So
That's
thank you for these questions, Liz, as well. Like, you have some awesome questions, and you're allowing me to just like flow. Just so thank you so much.
And when you mentioned that blank sheet of paper, I thought about the whole rebirthing process, just
Mm-hmm.
starting anew, just turning over a new leaf, just a fresh beginning,
Mm-hmm.
just white in general. Which is why I wore all white this week, because I feel like I was rebirthing myself, starting over anew. That's kind of why I did it. I did it because I wanted to show a new side,
Mm-hmm.
a softer side, a more vulnerable side, as you mentioned. That vulnerability. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of us, we as people of color, we try to be tough all the time, but it's okay to show emotion. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to say I'm not okay. It's okay to say, I feel, as you mentioned before, indecisive about things, because we're human, and it all ties into one thing, which is humbleness. So that's how I feel about it. We've got another question for you. Fitting into the confine of society can limit a human being. How are you allowing yourself to be authentic as
Oh, I've dealt with the insecurity of what I thought people or how I thought people viewed me. Because I grew up thinking I was like a really weird dude. I like to do art. I was like into music. I like to like walk outside with no shoes. Like I go climb waterfalls. Like I go to abandoned buildings and like go to rooftops. I like to like I feed the things that feed me back. And I was scared for people to see me feeding myself. But then I had to ask myself, why? Like, why are you living on the back burner and not seeing yourself in confidence? Like, this is you. This is what you like to do, but you're afraid for other people to see you do it. And I was like, that's just you not liking you. You're not loving yourself when you do that. You're not loving yourself at all. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love every part of yourself. The shadow work, the the bad decisions, but also the highs. Like even when shit is going well. So once I started to really love myself and really just love myself for the gift of life that God gave me, I was just like, okay, boom. It was like my aura. It was like I just tapped into my aura, and I was just like, I'm just like flowing. I'm just like, okay, this is who I'm supposed to be. This is what life is supposed to feel like. And now this feeling is moving all of my decisions. So now I'm not moving in trauma anymore. I'm not moving in hurt. I'm not moving in pain. I'm moving in love and light and connection. It's like he did this. He did this for me. And when you were talking about the blank sheet, God, that's what God does for us. Like he came to this world to save the world, to give us an opportunity to like commune with him. That's what that blank sheet is. When you tap into God in whatever way people decide to do that, like he is giving you that opportunity to be like, hey, let me show you. Let me show you who you always been. Through that pain that the world showed you, let me show you in me who you always been. And for me, that's been the most beautiful thing that he showed me because I was like, dang, I didn't see myself like this. I remember when I didn't like myself. I remember when I was thinking about suicide. I remember when I didn't want to be here anymore. I remember when I thought it was about running away and going to like just starting life in a different place and not having any connection to my family or any life that I had previously. But he's like, no, your entire life you've been running. You've been running away your entire life. Just come here and I got you. Just trust me and I got you.
Chef KJ says, wow, you are flowing with the golden nuggets. That's what she said. And his, how do you want to mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally be loved?
Whoo, not you hitting my heart with this one, especially with where I'm at in life. Oh, okay. I think about now we're talking about love. Okay, a lot of my life I've thought about love, but it's been such in a traumatic way. But now that where I'm at right now, if I can just let me just answer this question directly. I want to be loved by somebody who loves God, but also loves them enough to love themselves more than they love me.
That's
I don't want somebody to be enamored. I don't want to be physically, spiritually, emotionally, sexually enamored or head over heels with someone. That's a lovely feeling that comes with love. But I want somebody to have a relationship with our creator and through that relationship cultivate their life so I can do the same thing, cultivate my individual life so we can bring those two things together. So I want a godly love. I want a love that you don't have to mix. All right. There's been like parts of me that I hid away for other people to find. And I love that song. It's a song by Yumi. It's called Down to Earth. And it's a line in there. She says, "Parts of me I hide away for other people to find. I don't want to live in that and hide. Like I am. This is me. And you're gonna love me for me. You can love me for this, or you can go love somebody else. But the standard for me is that.
Spirituality, being in
Very
touch
much
with.
so. You have to be in tune. And if you're not in tune, you're not going to connect with me in the way, because I'm constantly in communion, constant in communication. So that if you're not, that's going to cause a rift in our energy, in how we communicate, in our decision making, and how we see and view life. Yes, yes. First, self love. First, self love. You have to really, really do the work to get to self love, because as humans, we require that type of connection. We long and yearn for that type of connection, and through that yearning, we can kind of get lost in the sauce, because like this can feel good,